Something I want to go over with this is Dawn Blue again. Small block Chevy, 40 over pistons, if you can see there, 40 over pistons. Zoom in, zoom out, 40 over pistons. This is going in big red. And one thing I want to talk about is a lot of home builders like myself, and I say home builders because we don't have a shop. We're in our garages and we're building an engine to go into a project car or project truck that we got. And I think a lot of guys, go through the process of building the engine and getting everything done right as they possibly can. And it's some things that you overlook. Let's be real. Most of us, that are building these engines, we can, but we're building it on a budget. So a lot of times we're not going to take, that engine or that block to a machine shop. And I want to show a couple of things when you're pulling out an old engine that you can do to eliminate some problems that you're going to have. And one of the problems when guys don't take, that block or that engine to a machine shop, one of the things and the problems you're going to have is head gasket failure. That is one thing. And let's be real about it. Then you're going to have bearing failure. And you're going to have some other issues that go along with not taking your block to a machine shop. So I'm going to just point out a few things that you can do at home to help prevent these failures that you're going to have when coming to building your engine. Small block Chevy, Ford, Mopar, Chrysler, whatever. This applies to other engines as well. Now, let's think. This engine has been in a truck or a car 15, 20 years, and you're going to pull it out. You say, I'm going to rebuild this engine, blah, 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 blah. And then you say to yourself, I'm not going to take it to the machine shop. So let me show you a couple of things that you can do to help prevent head gasket failure. Okay, first thing is, I know a lot of guys like using 3-ply steel gaskets, and that's fine, but when you do that, you need to make sure this block surface is very, very clean. You got to understand it doesn't bite like the paper gaskets or the other gaskets that are normally used when building these engines. Gaskets like this, they can take, a little of not so clean. And what I don't mean not so clean, I mean perfect surfaces. That's what I'm talking about. These, when you start biting in, they mash and mesh to the block and to the cylinder head. Okay. But a 3-ply gasket, a steel gasket, this surface need to be real clean. It really do. So when you want to use a steel gasket and you want to go back in small block Chevy, I suggest you take it to the machine shop. That's my suggestion because I don't think you can get it clean enough for how you really need it. And sometimes they don't tell you that. They don't tell you, hey, look, this block needs to be clean. If you're using a 3-ply gasket. Using one like I just showed you, you can get away with, scouring pads and cleaning it real good, taking a razor and getting all the gunk material off and everything else. So that's one. Two is, look, if you're not going to take it to a machine shop, I say get screw-in head bolts. A lot of people say, oh, you can reuse your old head bolts. This is true. You can. But you do take a little, I won't even say 50-50 chance. You take a little chance, not of the bolt stretching, but you take a chance using that bolt and it's not going down in a hole all the way. And one of the reasons being is it's not, the bolt holes got junk in them. Okay. So if you take and reuse your old bolts that are looking something similar to this, this type of head, this type of bolt, you take a chance of this bolt not going all the way down inside that block, okay? And so it's not clamping and holding your head gasket the right way on this block, and you're going to have maybe not the first week, maybe not the second week, maybe not even the third or second month, but soon when you start pounding on it, that head gasket is not clamped on this block and its head the right way. You're gonna have problems. You're gonna have seepage. Okay, so for most people that don't know what these are, okay, and don't know what these holes represent, even though these bolt holes here are for the head, water can seep through these heads by transfer of you're not having any thread sealant inside of this. And I'm going to show you when I'm talking about thread sealant. Hold on a second. Let me throw you in the air. You need to have thread sealant on these bolts. And the reason you need to have thread sealants on these bolts is because water will come back out of these head bolts, seep out into your cylinder head. When I just said you screw in bolts that don't go all the way down and don't have the clamping force, water comes out of this into that. And then after a while, the combustion and everything, you burn out a ring. This is true. This is thread sealant. So every bolt that you put in this head, you need to have thread sealant on it. If you don't put thread sealant on it, you run a chance of this head gasket not lasting. I'm just being real. From experience, you run a chance of this head gasket not sealing. Okay? Another thing is, anytime, especially anytime you not plan on taking this to a machine shop, not you should, not you may, you must chase this out. You must chase this out. You must chase this out. Try to do this with one hand. And you must chase it out because it is junk in these threads. And if you don't get them out, you're not going to have a proper clamping force. I prefer screw-in studs, washer, and nut. I prefer not to use the old style bolts. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it, but you give yourself a better chance of it lasting with screw-in studs in these blocks. Okay? And somebody trying to build an engine now, look, go on eBay, Amazon, they're $38, $40. That will save you a lot of time and effort from going back and pulling this engine apart just because of that. Now, when I say must, chase it down, chase it down, chase it down, chase it down. Do it by hand. Do not use a drill doing this, okay? It's quicker, but chase it down. Chase it down and get that bolt hole, head bolt hole, clean of debris. Okay? Get it clean of debris. Now, I did that one in the past. Now, I'm going to do one that I didn't do. Now, all these, I ran bolts down in here just to get them so this wouldn't get stuck in there, but they still needed to be clean. Look, it's going to take you about a good solid hour to do this. But how many hours is it going to take you to pull this engine out? Okay, I'm going to do one that hasn't been done, and I'm going to show you the dirt and the grime that's on this, that comes out of this from doing this, okay? Try to do this one-handed here. All right. Kind of hear that? It's not turning as good as the other one did. And I'm going to show you why once I pull it out of here. All right. Chasing it all the way down. Now, I've already ran bolt holes in here. You know, head bolts in here. The old one, like I showed you, to kind of help this bit go down a little bit better. Okay. Now, let's get it going here. One or two more turns. Get it out of here. All right. Look at that. Do you see that? You see that dirt? You see that? Focus. Focus, Daniel, son. Yes, Mr. Miyagi. You kind of see that dirt? I'm sorry. Yeah, there you go. You see it? You see that? That's what's in these boat holes. So your head boat is not going to go down freely and clamp properly. And I've cleaned this out with a boat. I've sprayed WD-40 in it. I sprayed some degreaser in it, trying to get this clean. But as you see, chasing it is the only way you're going to get it clean. So please do that. If you do that, you stand a better chance of your engine staying together. Okay. It cannot if that boat does not go down in this hole properly, and it does not properly clamp down. 85. Some people do 80. Some people do 90. I even know some people do 100. But if you do not clamp it down, each of these properly, you stand a chance. When you start mashing that motor and putting this engine under pressure, you stand a chance of blowing a head gasket. All right. So that's just a tip. I didn't want to take too long, but I hope it helps somebody out, man. I really do. Just like the video. I'm not on here for subscribers or nothing like that, but you can subscribe. But I'm here just to help. Over the years of me, doing home builds and stuff, I'm just here to help somebody how to make their head gasket and their engine survive longer. This is all this video is about. It's not nothing about me. I'm not showing my beautiful face or anything like that. It's just to show the engine, show you what I'm talking about, help it survive. Okay. Also, one other last thing. When you break in the engine for the first time, and I got a thumper cam in here. I know you can't see it. Make sure you get assembly lube. And most of them are good of any sort. There's some better than others, but they all basically do the same. Make sure you get assembly lube, okay? And you put that assembly lube in your lifter bores, okay? Just go around, put it in your lifter bores. Get a glove, put them in your lifter bores. Make sure that assembly lube is heavily around your camshaft. Make sure you use braking oil. The bearings are not, when you put an engine together, the bearings are not properly lubricated yet until that oil get in there. Now, I know a lot of guys use semi-truck oil, because it has some zinc in it. It doesn't have the same it used to have. They're making oils cheaper and stuff. So my suggestion is to use braking oil. And if you can afford to, let me show you a good oil to use. Let me throw you back in the air. When you're breaking in your engine, this is a good oil to use. And it'll tell you it has high zinc on it. It might cost you 30, 40, 50 bucks, guys, but this is a good one right here. See, it says high zinc. I would use this. If I were you. VR1 racing oil. It's 20W50. Yeah. I'll run 10W30. Yeah. You're breaking the engine in. I wouldn't use 10W30 in a vehicle ever, but I know some guys do. But I wouldn't use that until after, you've had about, I say, 500 to 1,000 miles. I even say 1,000 miles on that engine. If you want to use 10W30, fine. I wouldn't. I would rather use semi-truck oil. To be honest with you, it's got a little zinc in it. And I always, between oil change, because they don't make the oil like they used to, guys, I would always use braking oil. I'll use some Lucas braking oil additive in every oil change. It just helps the bearings survive longer. It does, man. You can take it out, it's nowhere. If you blow a head gasket, I'm going to give another suggestion. If you blow a head gasket and you've been driving that vehicle for a while, your bearings, your rod bearings and your main bearings going to have some scarring on it. It's going to have some scarring. They might not be ate up and done, but just go ahead and change them. You're in it. Pull the engine out, go ahead and change them. That's another way for it to survive. Okay. So those are just a few tips. I know it took more than 15 minutes to how to make your engine survive when you're doing another build. There are other tips. I didn't go across all of them, but those are very important, I think. Making sure that the torque sequence is done properly when clamping these down, and making sure that you really take your time. A lot of people say, "Oh, I can throw an engine together over the weekend. We're gonna build that engine and throw it." Yeah, you can. You can. I don't know how long it's gonna survive. When you're building these engines, man, it might take you weeks. It might take you months if you got a full-time job. You can only put 2-3 hours a weekend in it. This is a process. You either gonna love to do this or you ain't gonna love to do this. This is a process. Don't shortchange yourself and go through all that labor and work, and then your engine just comes apart. And I know a lot of the time when people put engines together, they don't tell you this stuff. So for all you garage guys, look, put these engines together properly. There's plenty of, knowledge out there on YouTube, Facebook, and other videos. Just study the videos a little bit longer. If you don't have that experience and it's your first time, just study it a little bit and go play by play. And you can put yourself together a good lasting engine. So this is Big Red, and we're going to see how he looks after I get everything completed. I'm still a couple of weeks out from throwing him back in the truck. But, for me, when I'm taking the engine out, I'm rebuilding it, putting it together, putting all the pieces together. It normally takes me 4 to 6 weeks to do it properly. And that's from taking the engine out to putting it back inside the truck. Normally 4 weeks. Sometimes I do it in 3 if I have all the parts and don't have to wait on everything. But I don't want to keep this video no longer. I'm gonna, post this in a few minutes. Today is January the 28th, Sunday. And if you see this video and you're doing a build, just do some of this stuff, man, that I just explained. It's well worth it, and it'll help your engine survive. So this is Mr. Don Blue, Big Blue. Peace out. You got any questions, comments about certain things you might be stuck on, just hit me. Or you can hit me on my email, bigbluestrucking@gmail. I'll respond back to you. Or just send me a comment on here. I do check this daily. So, peace.